Hello, sorry for this uninspiring format, but I can't figure out how to use TikTok or do voiceovers or use technology in general, so you're just gonna have to look at my face with no visual aids. Sorry. So the historian I chose to do my project on is Alexis Coe, and she is an American historian and author who focuses in on the early republic and particularly presidential history. The book we read excerpts from in class, You Never Forget Your First, is her award-winning George Washington biography that came out after a pretty long career of museum work and academia. Before she wrote any books, though, Coe was a graduate at Sarah Lawrence College in New York, who apparently lived across from the Brooklyn Historical Society and became an intern in the oral history department there. After that job, she became more entrenched in the field of history, and she joined the New York Public Library as a research curator. This makes up a significant chunk of her early experience, if LinkedIn is anything to go off of, but right now she's actually a historical consultant for the History Channel and CNN. She also hosted the podcast Presidents Are People Too, and this was a little earlier, so it seems like her interest in U.S. presidential memory is very consistent, and that she's always wanted to share lesser-known information about some of the most noteworthy Americans. She said in a publication for the American Historical Association that readers don't need to hear everything you know in terms of well-known historical figures, and that she focuses instead on the hidden things that are more appealing to new readers. Although I couldn't find much about her inspirations, I did find that her work is technically inspired by historians like Ron Chernow and David McCullough, who failed to get into these subjects and instead worship the Founding Fathers for their masculinity. One of the most important things that Coe emphasizes in talking about the early republic is the historiography of the Founding Fathers and how they've been deified and romanticized through historical myth-making. Her phrase, the Thymen of data history, recognizes the spotlight that has been put on white male historians who only sing the praises of these figures, instead of recognizing their nuance and critiquing them appropriately. As for a recommendation, she only has one other book, made it kind of easy, and it happens to be one that I found really interesting, which is why I picked her. Alice and Frida Forever, A Murder in Memphis, recounts the murder of Frida Ward by her lover, Alice Mitchell, a case that led to early media demonization of lesbians in the 1890s and beyond. I also find this case really interesting, and the circumstances are bizarre and sad, so I'm interested in reading it myself. Other than that, I know you can see my script in my glasses. Sorry about that. I got my information from LinkedIn, her interviews with the American Historical Association, and her Wikipedia page. But other than that, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and thanks for a great semester.